We're coming to you from the Mumbai Cloud and Data Center Convention 2025, and joining us now is Dr. Coccia from Riello UPS. Welcome to w.media. Welcome back to w.media.
Thank you very much, Deborah.
Let's begin by you telling us a little bit about how you've seen UPS technology evolve over the years.
Okay. What I can tell you is that the UPS technology is definitely the most important insurance that you have within a data center space. And that's why, very often it happens that I'm confronted with the question, will the future data center infrastructure have a UPS inside? And I always like to start with the basic concept, uninterruptibility. The uninterruptibility function has to be always there, because this is basically what is protecting your digital equipment and which is actually guaranteeing your uptime. Now, the key question is, how is this uninterruptibility function going to be interpreted in the digital infrastructure ecosystem? And I can tell you that here, there is not a single formula that fits everything. For a simple reason, if you look at the data center ecosystem, and you look at it from our supplier standpoint, from our reference point, you basically have different type of clusters of clients. You may have the small office, home offices, you may have the computer rooms, you may have the enterprise business, which is still there massively there. You have the edge, you have the telecom, the content, the internet content providers, then you basically have the co-location, you have the hyperscalers, and nowadays we basically have the artificial intelligence service providers which are crushing the party. All of them have such a wide variety of requirements, technical requirements, that with one single solution you couldn't fit.
Right.
Now, what is going to be the next trend? For sure, we have to start from a consideration that the today's infrastructure, it's an infrastructure which is created around the AC supply. So power comes in AC fashion, and we have to start from this consideration. Then our technology is somehow completely binded to this AC nature of the incoming supply, right? What is the next conversion stage? Basically you have a battery, which is actually guaranteeing your backup time. And then you basically have a second conversion stage in the traditional UPS architecture, which is again taking a DC source and bringing it to an AC to supply basically the servers or the critical power equipment. Now, in most of the applications, this is actually my take, is going to be there. And these solutions is going to be there most likely for the next 4 or 5 years to go. Whether this concept is actually evolving in the next 5 years, this is as well a question mark that we are addressing ourselves. Now, just to provide you a little bit of a background though, I have been involved in many conversations about having DC, the so-called DC UPSs instead of the traditional AC type of UPSs inside the data center infrastructure. And the idea comes from the fact that back in the days, the telecom applications where they were working on 24-volt DC or 48-volt DC to supply the critical loads. And then there was a first step of thinking, okay, let's move from 48 volts to 400-volt DC. That type of technology never took really place. There has been a few prototypes around, but the mainstream has always been staying the AC UPS. Nowadays, there is the application of the artificial intelligence of AI, which is again smashing the party and also changing a little bit the rules. And
a little bit?
A little bit. I will also, like to articulate a little bit more on this one. But anyway, it's changing the rules of the game, and so now again the conversations about the utilization of the DC is coming again up and running. I would say that maybe it can make sense, because as soon as you have a lot of power, maybe it makes sense to have a different form, a different source of energy. Maybe you could go DC. Whether this is going to be mainstream, honestly spoken, I don't have the answer yet. But I personally believe that it may be something which is actually addressing the artificial intelligence need. Whether then this is actually solving the energy efficiency dilemma, because many people think, okay, I go to DC because with DC I have better energy efficiency. That's not really true. Because many people think, okay, if I have DC, I remove one conversion stage from the equation and then I'm okay, I have better efficiency. But in fact, it's not always like that, because you have a lot of problems downstream that you still have to correct. So you need to have always two conversion stages. So I would say that the benefit of moving towards higher voltage, this is the key question, is definitely there, and possibly that specific industry is moving into that direction. Whether then telecom, colocation, edge, or enterprise are moving there, I don't know.
But I'd like to delve into the wider question of power management itself. Do you think data center operators, irrespective of what kind of data center they're operating, AI is here, it's going to grow, but even the smaller ones, do you think now they need to just completely change the way they think about power management?
For sure. I mean, for a simple reason, let me just start from this consideration. First of all, I mean, with the more usage of digital data, of data and digital infrastructure, of course, I mean, the power requirements are increasing. If you take, for example, the telecom environments, which were basically built 20 years ago, we were talking about a few hundred kilowatts of power, right? The telecom environments of today, they are easily processing 10 megawatts. So the power requirements has gone up. Not talking about hyperscalers here that have always set a trend of very power hungry data center infrastructure. But if you also, for example, take the edge space, you were talking about, when the edge ideas were actually coming up onto the market, you were talking about, those proximity data centers with few hundred kilowatt of power, very, very close to the user point, or to the point of the user. But in fact, I mean, even the power being processed by the edge is actually increasing. Okay, so this is actually bringing a new dimension. Where do I get this power from? Of course, I mean, then it comes as well the next question, where do I get enough cooling, to cool down the whole thing?
I was going to come to that.
and then there is another paradigm and then another point in the overall equation, which is energy efficiency. For a simple reason. First of all, I mean, we are all moving towards, the carbon footprint neutrality.
Exactly.
This is one element. But then let us not forget that the higher your energy efficiency, the lower is your capex cost, and the lower is your operational cost during the 25 years or 30 years when the data center is up and running. So there are a lot of different dimensions that have to be taken into account, when it comes to power management. So power management has to be treated in a kind of very, very holistic way, to my opinion.
Okay, let's now talk about Riello UPS in 2025. What's been your growth like and what can we expect in 2026?
Very, very exciting things ahead. I mean, we are definitely moving towards as well applications for artificial intelligence case studies. I mean, you will hear more about that. We are also increasing the power per UPS.
Oh, okay.
Very soon.
Okay.
So, and this is because we have been discussing about, power hungry data centers.
Yeah, because now they're talking about a 600 kilowatt rack.
That's as well another very important dimension. Think about, I mean, nowadays, I mean, the limitation is about 1.2 megawatt UPS, which is the most of the used power. But I mean, if in 4 or 5 years we are going to half a megawatt rack, IT rack, then you would have one UPS to supply two IT racks, which from an economy scale point of view, it doesn't really fit the equation, right? So we have to start thinking about different things to bring down the cost for our operators. So for sure, we are moving towards a larger power per UPSs. News will be released soon.
Okay, so does that mean that you're also developing some innovative technologies, or you've probably created that perhaps internationally and are planning to bring it to India?
Also, I mean, when we think globally.
Okay.
But I have to say that India is one of our major countries in our Riello UPS organization. I can tell you that here, for example, Riello UPS, we have roughly 300 employees. We have a large manufacturing center in Delhi. We basically cover all the country with a lot of different rep offices and so on.
True.
But I mean, if you look at it from even a turnover standpoint, India is probably the third or the fourth country inside our global international group. So India, our Indian entity, is probably one of the top notches that we have in our organization.
Perfect. Final question. You attended Mumbai CDC for a second time, and I was wondering what drew you back to us, and if you have any feedback, how was your experience?
Absolutely, I can tell you. I mean, this is the second year. Last year, I was super positive. and you have been confirming the standard, the very high standard of last year. So I'm very, very super happy. I will be here again next year.
Woo.
You have to make sure that the standard is really kept at the right level. Thank you, and I'm sure that you will be. What I can tell you is that, of course, I mean, a lot of interesting discussions, a lot of interesting panels. I mean, today, majority of the panels were around the implementation of artificial intelligence, because this is in fact, I mean, not anymore just a buzzword. This is a reality.
It's here, it's not going anywhere.
This is a reality, and this is going to be setting the trends for the next 4 or 5 years to go. Definitely by far. And you know, so a lot of interesting things also, because I mean, this is a field where I'm also learning a lot. You know, because the field, I mean, started maybe 1 or 2 years ago, 3 years ago. Okay, so it's in a constant evolution.
Right.
And that's why it's important that we keep sharing all this information. And I feel like that a platform like this one is just absolutely great. And you know that we have been partnering with w.media for pretty much all Asia Pacific. So we have been pretty much present in almost all the events that you guys have organized this year. So I'm very happy. I can confirm that we will be as well doing the same thing for next year. And so let's keep in touch.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for this interview.
Deborah,
Always a pleasure.
thank you very much for your time. Thank you.